KCAU-9 News starts with your forecast first.
Thanks for joining us on this Oscars night in Siouxland. I'm Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson. We've been watching a blizzard happen throughout much of the day today. Just recently, that blizzard warning has been peeled off of Woodbury County, but we do still have some very dangerous travel, especially east on Highway 20. As we look outside on the Port Neal Welding Company Skycam now, some sunshine has broken through the cloud cover, but you can see the American flag there posted outside of our KCAU-9 studio, flapping in the breeze still at this hour, and that's blowing around the snow. We do have blizzard warnings that'll continue through the morning hours for parts of western Iowa inside of the red on your screen. Here's the planner for tonight, expecting to have cold conditions, windy, the temperature at about 9 degrees at 7 o'clock, 3 at midnight, and a temperature of 2 degrees below zero at 5 o'clock in the morning with a chance of flurries. Your complete forecast is coming up. KCAU-9 News starts right now.
We are Siouxland proud. This is KCAU-9 News at 5.
And good evening. Thanks for joining us on this special Oscars edition. I'm Tim Seaman.
And I'm Bridget Bennett. It is Hollywood's biggest night.
That's right. This year's first golden statue gets handed out in, well, roughly about 2 hours. But before then, there is plenty to get to.
That's right. Stars from the movies, music, politics, and sports all coming together to celebrate the 91st edition of the Oscars. This year's show being televised in more than 225 countries and territories around the world. And to help us navigate it all, we turn to our movie insider, that is Bruce Miller from the Sioux City Journal.
So glad to have Bruce with us tonight. And Bruce, as the clock ticks down to the Dolby Theater in Hollywood, what are you hearing regarding the race? It's the race that everybody follows. That's for Best Picture.
Yeah, it's anyone's game at this point because there are so many close races with all of this. In fact, I think it won't go down until the last minute when you find out what the Best Picture is. It probably won't even win more than 1 or 2 awards. That's how tight this whole thing is. You're going to notice, too, that there will be early trends. You'll see a lot of things for The Favorite. Maybe Bohemian Rhapsody will win a lot of the early ones. And so will Black Klansman will win Best Screenplay, but Black Panther will win some of the technical awards. Roma is expected to win Best Picture. We'll see if it does or not. There is this bias against films that are on Netflix. We'll see if it breaks that kind of thing and see what happens. So who knows what will happen. It's a night of upsets, and I think you're going to see a lot of fun, too.
That's what we look forward to, the unexpectedness of this big night. And maybe this year more unexpected than most.
No host.
That's true.
That's unexpected.
We'll follow along and see what happens there. Bruce Miller will be with us throughout the newscast and all night. Bruce, stay with us. We appreciate everything. It will be an exciting evening for sure, and plenty of questions, as we say, still to be answered out of. We'll sort through it all over the rest of the evening.
Exciting to see what happens. Now, right now, the other big story here in Siouxland, it is the end of one of the snowiest weeks we've experienced in quite some time.
That's our top story tonight at 5 o'clock.
Whether you're a little guy out with a shovel or a big snowplow, Siouxlanders took to the streets today to finish cleaning up the roads. But with all of this wind, that is a never-ending job. High wind gusts creating dangerous snow drifts around Siouxland, making visibility a big concern as well. Now, these conditions are now starting to clear up this evening. Road closures, accidents have been a problem for much of the state.
I'm going to take a look at some images that we've collected throughout this day, folks sharing online, of course. And Highway 20 has been a bad situation throughout the day. This is a picture from over in the Holstein area sent in by Kristen Ann. And Highway 20 today actually was closed throughout Iowa County, Ida County, I should say. The roads were again open to traffic at about 3:30, we've been told. Big drifts and semis stopped at the end of a line just head to tail, unable to go much further as the snow blew in. And here's another shot sent in to us that we've taken from the internet. Pictures that Faye Smith has shared, just the drifting and causing big problems in all the rural areas. As soon as an area is opened up, it's closed again. And Dan Wetherell of Ottawa posted this picture, a stranded vehicle that's well, drifted in. There's no doubt about that. Vehicles have had a difficult time going anywhere, but the conditions do continue to get better.
Yeah, the drifts all over a concern. Really that wind, not really the snow causing the problems today. Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson is following the storm and wind system today. Scott, how much longer is this extreme wind going to stick around?
Tim, Bridget, we have a continuation of that blizzard warning for eastern communities in Siouxland. That'll last until 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. As we look at our road conditions map now in northeast Nebraska and southeast South Dakota, conditions are okay, but there's still some areas that visibility is very poor. You can see that northward along Interstate 29, we have complete snow and ice coverage of the roads leading up towards Sioux Falls. Travel is not advised across basically the entirety of western Iowa, and there are still some areas that are impassable. That includes eastward on Highway 20, so best to be careful, stay inside if at all possible, and just watch the Oscars tonight. Again, visibility remains one of the big issues. Sioux City received about 3 inches of snow. Further east, though, in Pocahontas, about 10 inches of snow, and also reports of as much as 16 inches in Lorenz, and that is causing visibility to be next to nothing in Storm Lake, about 3/4 of a mile in Esterville. So that combination of the heavy snow and the wind has really caused some major issues. We'll go into detail on a quieter week coming our way, but staying cold in the full forecast. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Scott, and we'll check back for much more in just a minute. Of course, earlier in the newscast, you saw just how bad those roads across Siouxland have been, making it very difficult to travel by road.
Yeah, but getting off the ground was also very difficult for a lot of folks. KCAU 9's Jessica Watson joins us live in the newsroom now. And Jessica, it sounds like air travel was also a big problem today.
Tim, Bridget, many travelers braved the roads last night to get to the Sioux City Gateway Airport, only to find that flights were canceled this morning and last night, leaving many stranded. Travelers drove from the Sioux Falls Airport after their flights were canceled, hoping to catch one in Sioux City, but without any luck, leading to an even longer wait to get to their destinations. And although frustrations may be high, everyone was trying to make the best of an unfortunate situation.
We all got stuck. The plane that we were supposed to be on at 7 o'clock out of Sioux Falls was canceled, so we all drove here last night, and we've been camping at this airport since last night.
Not expecting any of this to happen. Come from the Midwest regions in itself. It's just one of them things, so you just got to be patient, drag your patience out, expect the worst, but hope for the best.
Sioux Gateway is back up and running, and flights scheduled at 3 and 4 have departed. Thankfully, everyone I spoke to this afternoon is no longer waiting, and after 24 hours of waiting, they're finally en route to their destination. Reporting live from the newsroom, Jessica Watson, KCAU 9 News.
All right, yeah, thanks, Jessica.
A long night for a lot of folks.
That's right, and the weather here, a different story than the weather in California.
That's right. Now we head back to a little thing we like to call the Oscars. It's Hollywood's golden night, and it's nearly here. Unlike most Oscars, though, the curtain goes up on the 91st Annual Academy Awards show with plenty of question marks.
Including just how the show's producers are going to handle this big storyline that there will not be a host. ABC's Danya Backus has the preview.
The countdown is on and the anticipation growing. Soon, celebrities will be gracing the red carpet, and we'll finally know who will take home Oscar gold.
It's all real, darling.
This year, the uncertainties aren't just around who will win awards.
I think the idea that nobody really knows what's going to happen once the show begins may actually now work as a kind of level of intrigue.
For the first time since what was called a debacle in 1989, the Oscars has no host, instead opting for big performances, including all of the Best Original Song nominees.
This is the Academy Awards. They know how to put on a good show. They have all the A-list celebrities.
Producers are pushing to keep the show shorter than usual, aiming for it to only be 3 hours long.
And the Oscar goes to?
Since all 24 categories will be announced live Oscar Sunday, they say the 90-second rule will be in full effect.
Run that clock. Your clock will begin at the moment that you hear your name called.
Winners will have just a minute and a half to get to the stage and finish their acceptance speech.
You see that podium, go for it.
And when it comes to awards, categories like Best Actor and Actress have multiple frontrunners. Even Best Picture is still considered a toss-up.
The Best Picture race this year is probably the most open it's been in a long, long time.
And there are a couple of highly anticipated performances: Adam Lambert in Queen and Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. Danya Backus, ABC News, Hollywood.
Now, of course, we do know that there'll be serious star power tonight. We've got our own star power, by the way. Mr. Bruce Miller is with us.
Right. Yeah, that's great. Gaga, is she wearing a meat dress? We'll see what happens.
We'll find out tonight, I guess.
If everyone on the red carpet looks as nice as we do tonight.
Yeah, I think we look pretty good, right? Don't you think?
And Thorpe took care of the jewels, correct?
Jewels, yes.
Tip Top Tux.
And Dream Dress
Express. Yes, we're styling.
I want to thank them for everything.
Yes, thanks to everybody. Now let's talk about the show tonight. There's lots of changes, big questions. One of my favorite parts, they are shortening this year. That's the speeches.
They are not. They can't, because the guy who's actually directing was a guy who proposed to his girlfriend on the Emmys. So the idea that this is going to happen and they're going to shorten somebody, and Glenn Close is going to have the best speech of the night if she wins. She already ruled the Golden Globes. You're not going to cut those speeches.
So the music's just going to roll in and they'll continue to talk.
Yes, if you remember Cuba Gooding Jr., when he won, he started shouting and screaming and jumping up and down, and they still kept on him.
Yeah, and I think at that walk, they say that the time starts from the second they leave their seat.
Please.
It takes too long to get there.
Give me a better seat.
Yes.
All right, we'll get back to you in just a second. Of course, the nominated movies are just that, movies that are nominated by members of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, and many in Siouxland seem to agree with at least some of the choices.
Some of the most powerful films were A Star is Born and Bohemian Rhapsody, with people saying they were good or that they can't wait to see them.
They really look good, and I have seen the old A Star is Born, and I want to see how it compares.
That was a very good movie. Yeah, both my husband and I really liked it. I think it's deserving of an Oscar. Yeah, it was really good.
Of course, we'll have to wait and see if either of those actually wins that coveted Best Picture award.
Of course, we'll find that out beginning at 7 o'clock tonight. What was your favorite movie?
I think A Star is Born just was the most enjoyable to watch, but I liked a lot of them this year.
There were good ones. I like Vice is my personal favorite. Probably won't win anything, but it was one of my favorites. What was on the silver screen used to be enough to get people into the theaters, but not anymore. With the advent of home theaters, people have many options.
And perhaps watching a movie on DVD weeks after it opens might be a better option, but not if theater owners have their way.
A new and improved movie-going experience is keeping movie lovers coming back again and again.
It's the Oscars.
Before a movie gets this,
These are the nominees.
it has to have plenty of this.
Right, this will be theater 2 down our side hallway. Enjoy your show. Thank you.
Just a few years ago, entertainment publications like Variety were saying the movie business was in big trouble. Maybe so then, but movie theater makeovers like the one underway at Sioux City's Promenade Theater have the industry racking up ticket sales.
You look back what happened in 2018, it was the highest grossing year in the history of theaters. That's a really big statement when you think about that.
Barstow has been in the theater business for 30 years, bringing big screens and new technology to Sioux City in 2004. He says today's moviegoer is demanding an even better theater experience, and that's why Promenade is undergoing a massive upgrade, something Sioux City's Southern Hills AMC Theater recently completed.
Relax, recline.
So yeah, it's pretty cozy.
It feels like you're like at home.
Barstow says that frequent moviegoers nearly double their movie consumption when recliners are available. Also new to the experience is online ticketing, allowing guests to reserve seats anywhere at any time.
In fact, we find that as soon as we insert the reserve seating model in, about 70% of all our tickets are sold online at that point, which is an amazing number. Now I can buy my tickets on my phone. How easy was that? And I get the seat that I want, and I bought it days in advance. But where that benefits on the theater side is now somebody has made a commitment to come to the theater. So it's changing the paradigm of what was, hey, let's drop in a movie.
One Oscar-nominated movie fans aren't dropping in to see is Roma. Some onlookers point to the Best Picture nominee and Netflix original as the industry's next big threat, streaming services. But Barstow has an answer for doubters.
When Avengers opens up in April, it's not available on a streaming platform. It's available here on a 50-foot wide screen that's 3 stories tall and literally taking your breath away as it pushes you back in your seat, your nice recliner seat. So they go hand in hand.
I absolutely love going to the movies and watching them on the big screen.
It's a good escape.
It is.
It's a good getaway. When you can recline and have an adult beverage, it's even better.
That's right, and that's why I love tonight. We are not done with our Oscars coverage by far.
We still have plenty to come, so stay with us, including a look behind the scenes at the $100,000 gift bags that the stars are going to take home tonight. Find out what's inside them coming up.
And probably not a major surprise, it is far warmer in Southern California than it is here, with temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Right now outside in Sioux City, it's just 9 and the wind is still packing a punch. Well, a cold week ahead of us with highs in the teens and 20s. More snow likely to stack up on Friday and a frigid start to the month of March. Your forecast next.
You're watching KCAU 9 News with Tim Seaman, Bridget Bennett, and Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson. This is KCAU 9 News.